Over the past year and a half, I have been stuck in this rut of inconsistency and gaining and losing the same 5 to 7 pounds. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? Mentally being in a space where you're constantly focused on trying to lose weight, trying to lose fat, trying to build a routine in the gym, on the track, a fitness routine, right? But you're unable to be consistent with those things and the promises that you've made to yourself. And I've learned that this is a pattern of disappointment. When you create patterns of disappointment within yourself, you start to lose trust in yourself. You start to distrust your journey and this process. It starts to feel like something that is unattainable, your goal. Your goal starts to feel unattainable because you know in the back of your mind that now you are stuck in a rut of the same discouraging behaviors. Now you know that you have some deeper issues to work through. Why do I keep gaining and losing the same 5 to 7 pounds? Why do I keep eating certain things that I know I'm not supposed to be eating? Why am I not listening to my body when I am full? Why do I not get up and go out for a walk when I know at the minimum that is what I should be doing to maintain my fitness? And you don't have to do these things, right? But when you make a decision for yourself to have a certain lifestyle, you have to uphold that in a certain way. And that comes with these decisions. And now that you're not making those decisions, it's a loop of utter disappointment. Then that starts to mess with your self esteem. And now all of a sudden, your self esteem has lowered because you don't trust yourself to progress in the ways that you have planned for yourself. Don't let your goal date pass. Now your goal date has passed that you set for yourself, and you have to set a new one. Maybe you've journaled about this and you keep seeing the same entries over and over again. You saw the same entry last year. I was looking in my journal from 2 years ago when I was 40 pounds lighter and trying to lose my last 10 pounds. I was journaling about making some of the same changes that I'm trying to make now. And it's just like, at what point do I learn that this is a lifestyle of maintenance? Or do I make the conscious decision to allow myself to maintain at a higher weight? That is a real question that you need to ask yourself. Are your goals sustainable? Is that something that you can realistically maintain? The latter is not an option for me. I do desire to look a certain way, to be in a certain body, to have a certain fitness and lifestyle. But what I've been learning over the past few years, well, unlearning, unraveling, as I mentioned in my first video, are my triggers. I have been unraveling the things that I learned, the bad habits that I learned. When you gain weight, you also gain new habits. You gain new ways of living that aren't the best for you. So when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to evolve yourself into a new version, you have to change those habits. They have to be replaced with something healthier. Eliminating them altogether isn't going to work because those habits, what they're doing, more than likely are soothing something. You are self-soothing with these negative habits. Something going on in your life, some kind of emotional or mental disturbance. That's what I'm going to talk about in my next video. What I personally believe a lot of unhealthy weight gain is. It's due to mental and emotional disturbance that we aren't able to fully soothe and regulate. So, the best way that we found to regulate ourselves has been with food. So, every time I gain and lose this same 5 to 7 pounds, there is a trigger for that. And I have to recognize, okay, what is the trigger for me this time? There are only so many triggers. All of these different triggers boil down to 1 to 2 main points, right? Just like how there are secondary emotions and primary emotions. The secondary emotions all boil down to a primary emotion. And it's the same way with these triggers. The last time that I gained and lost 7 pounds was recent. I was 182. I went up to 189. Why did that happen? I ended up going on a sugar binge. I started my day, and I think I mentioned this in my first video. I started my day with an iced sweet matcha, and then ended up getting 2 pastries. And then what followed that was just lots of indulgence, right? And a lot of people would see that as a binge. Yeah, but I didn't eat up to like 3,000 calories. I ate at my maintenance. But when you do that and you're also not exercising, and you're also in your luteal phase, and you also pair it with alcohol, like I did, the weight is going to climb up. So, seeing which behaviors and actions stack that add to weight gain is really important. It's really important to just be honest with ourselves. The last time this happened, I remember the exact reason why. It's because I had pasta. I made some pasta. I don't usually eat pasta. My stomach can't tolerate pasta. I really have a hard time tolerating that. It makes me bloat extremely bad. And that's what it did. I was bloated for like an entire month after eating that. It was so ridiculous. But it got ingrained within me that I cannot eat pasta. Maybe there's a certain way that I can prep my gut, have better gut health so that I can eat pasta in the future. But for now, it's not that serious for me to eat it. It's been cut out of my diet. But when you constantly gain and lose the same 5 to 7 pounds, or however much weight it is that you're, cycling through gaining again and again, you have to see, okay, what are the triggers? Only in the past few months have I actually sat down with myself and wrote down the reason for the weight gain. Over the past 2 years, I've just been trying to essentially restart every time, right? But that doesn't do anything if you're not learning anything, if you're not taking accountability for what's going on. Yeah, you can say that you're going to start over, but is it really starting over if you keep restarting a billion times? No, you're just in a cycle. And so the main message of this video is to take accountability for what's going on. The next time that you regain weight, hopefully it's the last time. But if it just so happens that it's a few more times until it really sticks within you, then you get tired of this. You finally become tired of this. Make it, try and make it a habit of at least writing in a journal or on the notes of your phone why you think you regained that weight. That way, if it happens again, you can look at the reasons that you have listed and track it down to a primary reason. Because ultimately, not diligently working towards your goal means that in some ways you fear your goal. There is something within you that is afraid of what it means to get to your goal. And there are so many reasons why. It could be that you're afraid of the maintenance because you've already been failing yourself so far. So, how are you going to maintain it? It could be that you're afraid of the attention you're going to receive and you don't know how life is going to be during that time. Maybe you don't want to hear other people, say things about you losing weight. You don't want to deal with other people's opinions. You could struggle with your own image. Some days you like the way that you look, and so you slack off on, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. And then it causes you to regain the weight. And then you're like, wait, I was supposed to be losing weight. There are so many different reasons. And if you can sit down with yourself and be honest about why you're not putting in the work, and that will take you closer to being able to develop consistency and to be able to keep promises to yourself.